Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship here on Apex Racing TV, YouTube, and of course, internationally on Motors TV. Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name's Andrew Woodhouse, and as usual, I'm joined by Adam Bath and iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson to provide some insight into the Nordschleife, Adam, and 4 races around this historic circuit. The drivers are tackling qualifying. I can't think of a much more difficult track to attack qualifying on than this.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty special, I think. 4 races around this track tonight. The drivers, they get one shot at setting a qualifying time. And yeah, all these corners definitely make up for one brilliant spectacle. So let's see what's going to happen in the championship, because we could see some changes. And of course, we've got some big team and driver changes to announce as well this race meeting.
Yeah, indeed we have, and there were so many, indeed, that I missed most of them. But yes, so Wojciech Svidovic has gone to Sim Racer magazine. Eurochip Digital is no more. So that no more Jeroen Kaiser, no more Andreas Katz in the series. Sebastian Job has moved to Apex Racing as a reserve driver. We have also got Russell Laidler, who's now full-time at Alphala Tech, I believe. Dan Hunt is now a reserve driver instead, so they've swapped round. We've got a new team, Mainland Racing, that's Jörg Dankert, Peter Van Gool and Diogo Melro. Pete Harrod is now a reserve for the CQR Academy, and he will be driving tonight. Pete Harrod, the Kia Club Series champion of Season 2. So, a couple of good additions there to the field, Adam, and yeah, we've got 45 cars attacking the Nordschleife tonight. Yeah,
it's sad to see the Eurochip Digital team go, because they looked probably one of the strongest teams on the entire grid, of course, because you had Svidovic, you had Katz, you had Rob Fagg as well. So Andreas Katz, the runner-up, of course, from last season, will no longer be racing in this series, as Rob Fagg in his Eurochip Digital car goes for a bit of a crash, and that's the beginning of his flying lap. And of course, only one car, so he most likely will be starting at the back. But yeah, looking at the championship standings, Wojciech Svidovic, 83 points ahead of Simon Field. Those have changed after the race meeting that we couldn't broadcast, sadly, from Donington Park last week. Michael Scherbach in 3rd, Richard Gore in 4th. He's dropped down 2 positions after the Donington Park round. Zdeno Japlewski in 5th, Colin Cunniff in 6th, Jamie Fluke in 7th, Alex Smolensky in 8th, Jamie Rushworth in 9th, and Pete Newman in 10th. Looking quickly at the Pro-Am standings, Paul Smith leads them by 11 points over Nick McCarron. Craig Evans in 3rd, Roy Ververke 4th, and Liam Atkins in 5th. And you wonder why Paul Smith is at the top. I think that's because Richard Gore is now a pro driver. He's no longer eligible for the Pro-Am Championship. And looking at the teams quickly, Alphala Tech leading Apex Racing, who have dropped down a position by 8 points, and 290 points back or so. It is Friction Racing in 3rd, Simpson Racing in 4th, and Race Up as CQR slowly working their way back up through the standings.
Thank you very much, Adam, for that. Alex Simpson, hello, mate.
Good day.
Hello. So the Nordschleife then. Biggest challenge on here for these guys in qualifying, which most of them have actually done, tackling this entire 22.8 kilometre track without going off the track at any point. Otherwise, that invalidates the qualifying time. Very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Not easy at all. And looking, I mean, there's a lot of people who haven't set a time out there, I have to say. You say that, you know, there's some good times there, and but
a couple of people did get chucked out of qualifying, from what I heard, with penalties. Gore and Murray were excluded from the qualifying session.
Still 15 who haven't set a time. Of course, there's people out there still trundling around, and, you know, at 7-minute lap, it can take a little while to get your time in.
There is time for some people, isn't there, though, if they've not actually got out there so far. You know, the likes of Lee Berridge out there, and Daniel Hunt still trying to set some times as Hunt goes over the rise at the Flugplatz.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting race as well, because I think, you know, unlike some circuits where, you know, everybody knows the circuit very, very well, and, you know, you need the car to be set up the best it can possibly be for you, the driver, to get the most out of it. You know, that seems to make the difference with some of these drivers. But I think here, this is one track where you don't necessarily need to have the best setup or anything like that to get yourself towards the front. You know, you could have the worst setup, but know the track extremely well, and you're going to be at the front. So knowing the track makes all the difference here. So this week's race, as far as I'm concerned, is all about the driver and how well he knows this track. And those are the ones that are going to come out on top.
This is why this could be one of the most interesting meetings of the season, mate. I think because
could go to anyone.
Anybody.
Yeah, if you've got some people who are normally at the back, but you know that they've spent many an hour hot lapping around this circuit, so they know it quite well. Well, they're going to be right at the front because I tell you, I don't know the track well. I sit here right now and say I haven't done countless laps around here. I'm not a huge fan, I'm an open wheel driver, and that's really what I like to do, so this sort of thing doesn't appeal to me. And the other day when I jumped in it just for a bit of a fun session, I got smashed by people who I would normally be all over. And that is just because you need to learn the track when you don't know where you're going. It's like trying to drive a country road when you don't know where it's going next. So this is going to be really, really exciting to watch.
Tell you what, the Gran Turismo and the Forza days have definitely helped me in learning this track.
I mean, that's the thing is I've done hundreds of laps around the track, and I still don't know it properly. That's how long it is, and that's how difficult it is. There are some people, Adam, who I hate to say it, some people are going to have to probably treat this like a rally stage because they probably won't have a clue what they're doing.
Yeah,
but for most of it, I mean, it took me years to even learn, say, the first third of the track, for instance, properly.
I don't think it'll be as dramatic as them having to have a circuit map in front of them, doing the left, right, left bit. And
you never know; they may have one stuck to the screen somewhere.
Well, yeah, because we see the touring car drivers sometimes. When we used to have those in-car shots, they would have the map of the circuit on the steering wheel. So, see if that happens. But yeah, it's the thing about the BSRTC though, because we always see the pack racing every single week, like we saw at Brands Hatch a few weeks ago. But do you think we'll be able to see it here? Because I think we'll really be seeing drivers break away into their own packs, really.
Looking at, I don't know if you saw the World Touring Car race here last year, but there were packs forming due to the fact that overtaking is very difficult. And I think, excuse me, I think we may get that at some point tonight. Is you may have a few queues, you may even have. It's only a 2-lap race, though. This is the thing, isn't it? So, are you going to wait for the long back straight to make a move when you know there's only 2 laps? It's a risky strategy, Adam, because you may only get 2 chances to overtake if that's your theory there. So you've really got to capitalise on any mistakes. There will be some.
Ooh,
because what's that?
That was Kip Stevens having a crash down at the end of the long straight.
His car was already knackered.
Yeah.
It was crabbing and everything, so that was never going to count.
Anyway, chances are that
an off track. Oh dear, that's how quickly it can end just there. I'm not sure who that was we were watching there, but that's it, done and dusted.
But I forgot what I was going. Chances are that there are going to be mistakes around here, Alex. There's 154 corners here, registered corners, and excuse me, sorry. Some people are going to be stronger in other places than other people.
Oh, without a doubt, those that do know the sectors, some bits here and there and things like that, they will definitely have an improvement. And can I just apologise for the state of the cameras this week as well? So we haven't got any fancy camera packs, and some of the iRacing ones, yeah, they need some work. Come on, iRacing, get an update done. Get that Alpha team doing some tweaks for you, because when your trees are just in the way and vanishing and things like that, it just looks a bit shoddy.
Yeah, and I also in advance apologise for my voice, because there is a good chance it may go tonight. But it's actually a 15-minute race, chaps. So,
no laps, just time.
So we should actually get 3 laps here, which actually will make a difference, because, as we know, for those people who are new to BSRTC, welcome. It's good to have you along. But everybody who is 1 lap down or less scores points here, and this actually... oh, wait a minute. I've just seen that... Oh, everybody's now saying 2 laps. So even though it's a timed race, they're now saying it's 2 laps and not 3, so...
That's just how long the server is, isn't it? So...
Well, the cars are forming then. Let's have a look at the grid quickly. Michael Schaubach on pole position. He was doing well, I think, in the Kia Cup Series race that was on Tuesday nights. Dan Kraft in second, Stanislav Chepelevsky third, Jack McIntyre fourth, Alex Smolensky in fifth, Wojciech Savidovic sixth, Colin Cunner seventh, Pete Newman eighth, Paul Smith in ninth, and Ross Balfour rounding out your top 10. David Baker's in 11th, Jamie Rushworth 12th, Matt Bunn in 13th, 14th Pete Harrod, 15th it is Andrew Brown, 16th Steve Hefford, 17th Julian Janowski, 18th Diego Melro, 19th Laura Bond, and 20th is Russell Laidler. Don't know how we're doing for time, but we'll quickly run you through 20 down to 30. Russell Laidler, Jay Wright, Michael Hall, Ben Patterson. Right. Yeah, John Robertson 24th, 25th Rob Graham, 26th is Scott Malcolm, 27th Stuart Atkinson, 28th Jörg Dankert, and a lot of cars that didn't set a time. We got Rob Fagg, Simon Field, Richard Gore, Kip Stevens, Dan Hunt, George Simmons, Roy Ververke, Nick McCarron, Rob Plumley, Andrew Whitehead, Mark Johnston, Michael Blake, Craig Evans, Lee Berridge, Peter Van Gaal on his return to the series, Lorne Murray, and at the back in 45th position, it is Cesare Rizzo.
Well done. So we have 45 Kia Optimas, 154 corners, and we're doing that twice. So here we go then. We're getting set for the start here at the Nordschleife. The green light is on in Germany. And already, look at that, Daniel Kraft trying to take the lead from Michael Schaubach. And there is a bit of contact into turn one. But actually Kraft holds on to the advantage, Schaubach holds on to the advantage there. And it was a belting start from Kraft. And these guys are going to have to be very, very careful. Cold tyres here. It's only 22 degrees track temperature.
Oh, someone off further back.
Automet car, and one of them. All three Automet cars are off. Oh, there's more contacts. That's Craig Evans, that's Mark Johnston, and another car turned around there. That is Michael Blake.
Kraft is off, I think, as well.
Dan Kraft is off,
Kraft
so second place.
I don't know if that's a spin or he was helped. It's a spin, he's just gone off. Cold tyres, first sector. Oh, and everybody's missed him, I think.
So we head over the hill. Are the cars getting any air? They're just almost getting into the air as we head through this right-hander, this really fast kink for the first time, and already Schaubach is away for Alfa Latek, followed by Chepelevsky, then McIntyre, Smolensky, Colin Cunniff, then it's Wojciech Savidovic trying to get past, then it's Pete Newman, 8th, Rushworth, 9th, Paul Smith, and then Pete Harrod up to top into 10th position, so great job for the Kia Club Series champion on his debut for the CQR Academy team.
Schaubach was fastest in practice by 0.8 of a second, and we'll see if he can convert that into 2 solid laps of the Nordschleife. So Schaubach leading, and then it's Wojciech Savidovic. No, it's not Wojciech Savidovic. Cars are disappearing on my screen. It's Stalin Chepelevsky, then McIntyre, Jack McIntyre, and then Smolensky. So good qualifying from McIntyre. We know he's not slow at all, but very impressive run here on the Nürburgring. And Alex, that was just what you were talking about. Somebody, a mid-pack driver or an upper mid-pack driver getting into the top 5, because obviously good track knowledge here.
I tell you, it makes all the difference. Good little battle going on between Simon Field, Richard Gore and Stuart Atkins right now as well. And Field just getting a little bit of a separation. The crazy thing is there's already 29 seconds between these guys. And that's the first and 18th. There's something going off ahead. I'm sure we'll see that, will we? I heard something somewhere. I think it was Mark Johnston. He's on his side. And that's Michael Blake coming through. Just about, I think that was Blake, or was it Janowski? I'm not sure exactly who that was there for a second.
Blake's still going there, so it must have been... No, Janowski was further up the road. Janowski's in the Alfa Latek car, isn't he? So
no, I'm not sure. Something weird going on there.
Nick McCarron's got a problem. His Apex car's going very, very slow through this twisty section, about a third of the way around the lap.
Bad news for Apex Racing there, but what Nick needs to do is he just needs to finish the race.
Because we've got quite a few cars in the pit lane.
Can't finish the race, that is.
So Schaubach then, heading down this very fast section of the circuit. We've got a whole load of kinks here, and it's brilliant to drive. And I'm sure it's in the Kia Optima as well. We're just about to head up the hill onto that section, in fact. So many corners here on this Nordschleife circuit. We don't use the GP circuit this time around, though. We're just using the Nordschleife section, so no going down into that hairpin that we see in the Nürburgring 24 hours. But Schaubach is on his way now down towards the carousel. It'll be interesting to see these Kia Optimas going around it for the first time.
Alex, can we go on board with Schauback through this middle sector
Certainly can.
for a little bit and just see how the Germans are tackling this fearsome track, really? Big flat out section, and it's difficult in the Kia to. He's going off there, and it's difficult in the Kia to attack fast corners that need a slight lift or maybe one downshift. The car doesn't like it, gets a bit unsettled. Through this downhill right-hander that then goes up the hill towards the carousel. And Alex, this is really a corner where you've got to use ultimate patience.
That's it. I would think this car will handle quite nicely through there. It handles the bumps well, and you can see it just rides around the carousel beautifully, actually.
Chucks it out of it.
They're all good.
But it just shows just how, and this is quite a technical section as well. Very, very fast in this Kia Optima. Kia is no slouch at all in a straight line. You don't want to hit the curbs there, Adam. As we found out in the Lotus 79 last week, you can. It really does unsettle the car.
Yeah, I think we saw a few people having a few 360-degree spins at this section, and
Cam Stark saving one spectacularly as well. As Schauback flying down. Oh yeah.
And of course, these cars will be racing in the 24 hours of the Nürburgring on iRacing pretty soon. So this section is brilliant to watch. Schauback now flying it through this double left-hander and then flying it back to the right, trying to get as tight as he can there. And then we head up the hill and now back onto this really quick section, which plunges downhill towards the finish line. Alfa Alatech 1 and 2, third it's Jack McIntyre, fourth Smolensky, fifth Colin Cunniff, sixth is still Wojciech Savidovic. He started in sixth, of course. Then there's Pete Newman, Jamie Rushworth, then it's the CQR Academy cars battling away. Then they've got their race hub car behind, David Baker trying to break into the top 10. He's got two CQR Academy cars in front of him. Paul Smith, of course, leading the Pro-Am Championship, and then Pete Harrod right behind him.
Good performance this from Paul Smith, of course. And he's leading the AM category.
Heading up towards the little carousel then. Of course, those who haven't seen the Nürburgring circuit before, this usually makes the driver aware that he's nearing the end of this really long lap. And now here he comes, Charles back towards the left-hander, little carousel, and then it's the run to the finish line, really.
Yeah, so just through... It's very tricky, really. Fast, long right-hander. Which, if you get that wrong, it just ruins the lap, because you've just got this monumental straight section here. And Alex, this is possibly the longest straight in a FIA-approved course, I think.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I think.
It's huge.
Look
at all the cars piling
slipstream
down
that's
there.
going to be down. I'm just looking at Colin Cunniff. He's closing in on Smolensky right now and just pulls out from that slipstream. He'll get that done. But I think also Savidovic is going to follow him. Yeah, so straight through. You're a bit of a sitting duck, aren't you, down that straight? And then you've got the fast... Savidovic is also going to get Cunniff as well. So two cars in one. That was, that's how long that straight is.
Oh, this is close too wide then. And we saw this in the World Touring Car race in real life, how the Citroens were just blasting past the Hondas, and just as Savidovic was able to cut in front of Cunniff. Then it's hard on the brakes, down through the gears really quickly into this tight section at the end of the straight. And there you are, you're about to complete the first lap of the Nürburgring. And Savidovic, he was in 6th, he's just gained 2 positions, and it's up into, 4th place now.
Well done to everyone who's completed the first lap, because that is no mean feat around here. So halfway through the race, see the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit in the distance through this section as well. That's a wonderful track in its own right. And speaking of a good performance so far, Stalin Chepelevsky is actually catching Michael Schauback. It's put it down to 1.9 seconds now. And much better final section for Chepi, Alex.
Yeah, I think, you just need to build a bit of confidence as well. You know what it's like around here, and it's not much time to do it, but once you get settled into your groove, you can pick up where you are on the circuit pretty quickly, I think. And let's just see how that gap goes from 1.9 down to 1.7. So you're right, it's coming in pretty quickly, and he needs to as well. 15-minute race is confirmed as well on the timing screen, and I think they're going to get third lap in just. I think we are. I think the directive was, which I think is a little bit daft because it's going to take them as much time anyway, but they are only going round twice, I believe.
There was a change for position down the long straight. Jamie Rushworth's been able to get past the CQR Academy car of Harrod, and he's now trying to get past Paul Smith as we head through this left-hander towards this 180-degree right-hander under the bridge here, hard on the brakes, and Smith just goes a little bit wide there, trying to possibly get a late apex, runs out wide. We'll see if Rushworth's able to get the speed down this fast section, another fast section of the track. So many long straights here, which allow the cars to get a good slipstream, but just nothing to do with it really, because the corners are so tight.
It's a good battle this, Adam. You've got the two CQR Academy cars, CQR Works team as well, Race Hub, of course, and Smith, Rushworth. Then you've got Harrod. Oh, mistake there by Smith. I think he locked some of the rear brakes there. As got Pete Harrod, David Baker just behind them. The field spread is huge. You've got people sort of 2 minutes down already. I don't know if that's due to accidents or whatever, but some people definitely are legitimately about a minute behind at this point. That's field spread and potentially other things as well. But you know, we need to be prepared for spread out races tonight a little bit, but the intrigue, Alex, may be more in who's going to finish than who's going to necessarily be fighting over positions.
Yeah, I think that's really the way it's going to go. Just having a look at Dan Kraft on Rob Fagg at the moment. Kraft trying to get get that move that will get him up and into 14th place.
Rob Fagg then, the last remaining car of Eurochip Digital, runs a bit wide there. I don't know whether he hit the Armco at all, but he was a bit close. He was almost on the grass, and he's very slow as a result. Kraft looking this way and that. Of course, Kraft started second on the grid, nearly took the lead away from Shellback into turn 1, and of course made that mistake, and now he's having to fight his way back through the field in 14th place, as Alex was saying, at the moment, just outside the reverse grid positions, of course, but if we had a small reverse grid, he would be right at the front. And Rodfag seems to have regained his composure, is able to start fending off the friction racing car. Behind them, they've got Michael Hall in the Race Hub livery car, and another friction racing car, and Simon Field, who has been leading the championship for the majority of the season so far, is now in second place behind Wojciech Savidovic, and will be about to drop more points. But yeah, here comes Dan Kraft then. Has got Rob Fagg on the inside there, and he's having to defend already, heading down towards this hairpin, which leads on to the really long section of track that leads up to the carousel.
Of course, Daniel Kraft started on the front row. He almost had the lead going into turn 1 here on lap 1, and now on lap 2, battling with... Oh, there's a mistake there from Robert Fagg. He ended up on the grass there, so through goes Daniel Kraft. Let's have a look at this, the battle for the lead then. Chepelewski is closing in, Alex, a little bit again. Down to about a second, I think.
Yeah, 6/10 now. He's going to be there for that slipstream, so on that final straight, we know how much of an advantage that is. So I think this race is on.
Yep, going down Dottingerhoe for the second time. It's going to be very interesting indeed. Racing past the Costa Castle and towards the finish line, and that is down towards the final sector, which is a very, very fast sector as well. You've still got to get that right, even if you are leading. But for how long is Michael Shellback going to be leading this race? Because Bulgarian Stalin Chepelewski chasing his German teammate through the forests of the Nürburgring.
Just looking at the clock at the top, Andrew, are we going to get one more lap in?
They're not going to do another lap.
So this is the final lap of the race then?
You know, it'd be nice if we were told these things, but they're not going to do another lap. It's going to be 2 laps, and then they're going to do the full in lap. But you have to think it would have been the same amount of time to do 3 racing laps. But there we have it. I don't think we are actually going. Alex, what's the official timer on this? Because we're heading
2 minutes
not far
20,
away.
Yeah, 2 minutes 29 left. They're going to get through. They would get through for a third. Yeah, I think so.
See then. Well, anyway, the gap is getting...
Struggle to figure out where we are, actually, to be honest. We are...
coming up towards the little carousel, I think.
Oh, we're near the mini carousel, yeah.
Yeah, so we've just got under 2.5 minutes.
Very close.
Yeah, he's getting more and more close to him. And the gap's coming down visually.
What's Shellback got to do here, then? Because is there anything he can do?
I mean, he can only position his car in one position,
I think sit tight and wait. Once that straight comes on. It's just going to be a drag race there.
Maybe a bit of after you, maybe? To see if he can't, I don't know, maybe if he gets past early enough. Well, he's got a great run onto Dottingerhoe here. And you know what, that's about as good as he could have done it, Alex, I think.
I think you're right. It's well within range. 4/10, a little bit of movement going on, trying to break the slipstream. Still
Speed's going up
close.
266, 266. It's just off the limiter, isn't it?
Oh, here we go.
Here he
Here
comes.
comes Stalin Chepelevsky. Through the kink. Is there going to be a move from Shellback? He's going to have one chance. It's going to be. I think it's going to be into the last corner, chaps.
Here it is. Here comes the checkered flag as well.
Oh, it's a mistake by
Oh!
Chepelevsky, and he's gone wide. And I wonder.
A bit team there tactics. I don't know.
I
I don't know where's the line.
They're slowing back down. Across the line they go. The winner of this race is, of course, Michael Shellback. 7/10 of a second ahead of Chepelevsky. Wonder what was going on there. Yeah.
It was a bit odd, wasn't it?
Haven't seen. Yeah, I wonder if that was team play at all. But yeah, Stalin Chepelevsky in second place. 270 kilometers an hour they were hitting.
Further back. This is Rob Fagg, having a good old battle as well. And,
That's with Field.
Side by side, they're going to be giving it all the way.
Fag's nearly off the track. Field's nearly off the track as well. But again, can you get it stopped for these last two corners? Oh, is he gonna nudge him out of the way on the last corner? Is he gonna go for it?
Little nerf, maybe? No, he's not.
No, not quite. He's
Plays it
gentlemanly there on race one. Robert Fagg coming through just behind Simon Field. So that was for my timing screen. Got all sorts of problems.
Yeah, I don't know why it's saying that the 6 cars are the only cars that finished on the lead lap.
Alex, have you got a position for Simon Field, Robert Fagg and co? Because
Rob Fagg finished in 15th, Kraft 16th, 17th, Simon Field.
Just showing 1 lap down. Yeah, but are you sure that's the position?
Yeah, I wonder why it's saying 1 lap down. Because we're looking at this.
Wasn't Kraft either in front of or behind both of them? So.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No, he crossed the line out of position, didn't he, compared to the 2 here?
Yeah.
Let me just check that again. Just because some of my eyes aren't actually deceiving me. So over the line, it was the 12 car. See, Michael Hall was just in front of Field, and then it was Fagg. And then it was Gore.
Yeah.
Kraft finished
I think I know
lot.
what. I think have these race results been clocked at the moment the 15 minutes hit? Because I don't know. Because Michael Shellback, race winner, finished the race apparently in 13 minutes and 58 seconds.
That's really confusing.
And Stalin Chepelevsky was 7/10 a second behind, and he didn't look 7/10 behind when they crossed the line.
Alice, what does your timing screen say?
Yeah, my timing screen says the same, down a few laps. It never really plays ball until everybody finishes and crosses the line.
Oh, so do we think it's gonna? Is there anybody still going?
Don't think so. I think we've.
No, everyone's crossed the line. Let's
run you through what the
Nick
the official.
Nick McCarron's coming onto the last straight. He had damage, didn't he? So he is still going. So we won't run through anything because it's going to be wrong.
It's a problem with the timing equipment, yeah.
I'm sorry, Adam. It's definitely going to be wrong though. So it won't. As we saw, Michael Hall definitely finished just ahead of that group, and Daniel Kraft wasn't anywhere near Simon Field at the end. So
wonder what they're going to do then, because this is the race results that the organisers base the standings off of.
It's the
standings from the first lap.
There.
It's the standings from the end of the first lap. That's what someone's in the chat has nicely put for us.
But let's see. Yeah. They should have just done a 3-lap race, to be honest.
It looks to me as if the those that across the start-finish line for lap 2, those ones are correct as they were. But after that, they're wrong, aren't they?
Well, here comes McCarron.
But like you say, they're the end of the first lap. So
there goes McCarron.
Very confusing.
That hasn't made any difference at all.
Difference?
They're going to have to review the results, surely, in video, because
the standings the timing screen's crashed then.
It's completely knackered in the politest terms. And
there's not really much point us running you through the finishing order from the first lap, is there?
Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and actually see and actually figure out the order in that way. So it was Shellback, that's for sure. Was then Chepelevsky. That's also confirmed.
So Shellback
and then
wins,
it should be Wojciech Savidovic, who just beat Jack McIntyre. So it was those two. Then it was Colin Cunniff in 5th, Can we write this down somewhere, just in case?
Yep, I'll get a pen.
Cool. Sorry.
Old school.
This is the height of professional broadcasting. We do apologise, but it is sort of... we have to do it, I guess.
Yeah, so Wodge third, fourth was
Cunniff. Sorry, fourth was McIntyre, sorry.
McIntyre, okay.
Then Cunniff was fifth. Sixth coming over is Smolenski.
Okay.
And then we had a crash. We had a crash at the end, a big crash, actually. Alex, I don't know if you can get to this, but we had...
Paul Smith looks heavily damaged.
A big smash between Smith and Newman, which also took out Rushworth and Baker and Andrew Brown.
This was on the straight as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
At the end of the straight, wasn't it?
Oh, dear. Yeah.
It's into the last section, the kink at the end of the lap. Big crash there. So who managed to actually get that? Because I don't think it was Pete Newman, because he's on his nose there.
I think it's the other CQR Academy car of Pete Harrod. So Harrod comes through and gets the fourth.
Is it Harrod?
I think it is.
Baker got taken out. Oh, Harrod makes it... right. Harrod makes it through there. And there isn't anybody between Harrod and Smolenski, is there?
So Harrod gets seventh. Eighth.
Harrod is seventh.
Eighth for Baker.
Just check this one.
Ninth comes
yes.
Paul Smith.
Yes, Baker. And... yes,
and then,
to Smith. So what's that? Ninth?
Yeah, and then 10th for Matt Bunn. Pete
right,
Newman
we're going to have to
scrambles
work
across
it all out,
everything.
unfortunately, ladies
That's our
and gentlemen.
top... We'll keep it with the top 10.
No, but we have to work it out for the reverse grid.
Let's continue.
They won't have the right standings. We don't.
Right,
so
Pete Newman then. I think he finished 11th.
You've got to, haven't you?
Yeah,
so
Matt Bunn's in 10th.
Matt Bunn was 10th. Then it was Newman.
Newman 11th.
12th, Rushworth.
Yep.
13th, it looks like Kraft, but I'll just make sure that he gets over the line in front of Brown. Yes, it appears that he did.
Okay, then Brown.
Then Brown. This camera is terrible. Hold on. Then Michael Hall.
And Michael Hall. Okay.
So what's that position?
15th.
15th. Okay. Then it was Simon Field, just behind Michael Hall.
Okay.
So that was the battle we were watching.
Okay, that's the beginning of the reverse grid positions.
Then it's Rob Fagg.
Fagg, the remaining Eurochip digital car.
And then Gore.
Richard Gore, who's now a Pro-Am driver. I mean, a Pro driver.
Which is a bit daft as well, but I won't get into that. Daniel Hunt then next.
Daniel Hunt, who's now is a part-time driver for Alfa Latte.
Yep. And then it looks like Lee Berridge, but I would just have to run that. Just have to run that forward a bit, and just to see if anybody got him at the end. I believe it is Lee Berridge. I'm almost certain. So.
Okay.
And then it's Peter Van Gool.
Van Gool in 21st on his return to the BSR TC.
21st. Stuart Atkinson.
Atkinson in 22nd.
Yep. Thanks for your patience, everybody. The viewers at home. We are having to work this one out. Michael Blake, then next.
Michael Blake, 23rd.
Andrew Whitehead, 24th.
Whitehead, 24th, yeah.
And then, I believe it looks like Plumley next. Yeah, Plumley after
25th.
Whitehead.
And then
I'll
26th.
just make sure he actually crosses the line, because some of these I'm not quite seeing that. And then it's so after Plumley, which I've just lost the position, I believe.
Is that the last running car?
Jörg Dankert.
Dankert. So the new team on the grid for mainland racing.
Dankert. Where's the line? Where's the line? I don't know where the line is. It was either Dankert or the 20 car of Scott Malcolm.
It's either then.
I mean, what do you think of that one? I don't know where the finish line is, to be honest. So it was Dankert or Malcolm. I'm not sure about that. We'll have to get some clarification. Then it was Jay Wright.
Oh, we've got the reverse grid sources. Yeah, so Jay Wright 27th.
George Simmons then next.
Simmons 28th.
Then
rounding out the top 30.
I think Roy Ververke.
Ververke for Automech.
And then Hefford, then McCarran. That's what I think anyway. I think Hefford was out actually, so I think it's McCarran. I think that's the last finisher.
And then McCarran. So if we have a reverse grid, it will go to, if a full reverse grid, it should go to Nick McCarron. So let's run you
So
through.
I am sorry that we had to do that, everybody,
Yeah.
but we have had major issues with the timing here.
It's like doing an FA Cup draw, this. So let's run you through the finishing
Ball
order.
number 1. Yes.
Yeah. Michael Shelbeck does take the win. Stalin Chepelevsky second. Wojciech Savidovic finished in third. Jack McIntyre fourth. Colin Cunningham finished in fifth with Alex Smolensky sixth. Pete Harrows on his debut in the BSR TC Pro Series for the CQR Academy team finished in seventh. Eighth, David Baker ninth. I can't even do my own alliterations here. This is abbreviations. Sorry. I think that's Alex Smolensky. Then
I think
no, it's Paul Smith. Then in
Paul
10th
Smith,
it's Matt
yes.
Bunn. Then it's Pete Newman 11th. Rushworth in 12th. Then it's Dan Kraft in 13th. And then 14th, it is who's BRO?
Brown.
Matt Brown. Yeah. Then 15th.
Or is it just bro? I don't know.
Yeah, I've just been doing 3-letter things for these guys.
Yes. Oh dear.
And then into the reverse grid positions.
This
really.
is going on international TV, everybody. So don't be worried for
We'll
us
do a
at
better
all.
version. We'll edit this out. And then 16th, Simon Field. 17th, Rob Fagg. 18th, Richard Gore. 19th, Dan Hunt. And then 20th, it is Lee Berridge. 21st, Van Gaal. 22nd, Atkins. 23rd is Blake. 24th. It's Whitehead, 25th Plumley, and then 26th. It is either Jörg Dankert or Scott Malcolm. So let's just hope that the reverse grid doesn't end on 26.
And full would be, I believe full would be Nick McCarron if we go by that.
Which is down in 31.
I mean,
so I think
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe we'd have to find out if it was full. But I believe it is the last car on the lead lap if it's full. I'm not 100% sure though.
Okay, right. Now that that's settled, let's head over to the reverse grid, where we will find out who's going to be on pole for the second race of the evening, Alex.
I've been button poised, ready.
Yeah.
Here we go. Obviously, New will now has 2 full spots on it as well. So it looks like the admins are just tempting. They want a little bit more of that.
Is it still down to 26 then?
Nope. 25th. Should have told you that, really.
So, yeah, we didn't have to worry about the Dankert Malcolm thing.
Sorry, guys. Right, here we go. Let me press the button.
Field, Fagg, Gore, Hunt, Berridge, Van Gaal, Atkinson.
Atkinson. Yep. No, that was right the first time.
It couldn't get any further away from the full, so the 2 just didn't help at all as far as the roll goes. But it was 23rd, so reasonable reverse grid.
So Michael Blake will go on to pole position for the second race of the evening. So he'll be on pole. Atkinson in second, Peter Van Gaal in third, Berridge fourth, and Dan Hunt in fifth.
It's funny because pole position's always a decent place to start, but I think around here it's very good indeed. You get a clear track, you get to attack the track in your own sort of time almost, and you don't get that massive field spread and find yourself quite a long way behind. So yeah, we'll see then. We've had one round then. We'll be very quickly on to race 2, so do stick with us. There are 3 more races here tonight, here on the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship from the Nordschleife.
I'm Eric Hudek. I'm a engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
Me and my friends in this place gonna party.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
For iRacing to get Le Mans is huge. I mean, this is a unique event, a unique track where, half of the track is public road, so you can never test on it, you never get experience on it, and it's 8 miles in length, 4-minute lap time in a GT car. So, even if you're here for an hour of testing, that's only 15 laps, and you're only going to see the corner 15 times that day. The first section going through the Dunlop area is pretty unique. It's got elevation change and off camber. Then you go down Mulsanne into the chicanes, and the straights are unbelievably long. It's a tricky track, and every year I've come here, being my 4th year, you learn something new every time.
We've wanted to add Le Mans to iRacing for a long time, and we've really been working hard towards it for the last 5 years. But really, things only came together in the last week leading up to this race, so it was a real scramble to put everything together. The majority of Le Mans is public roads. So when they're preparing for the 24-hour race, it's really the only time that we can visit to laser scan and photograph the track so that we can recreate it in iRacing. We work closely with the ACO to get essentially exclusive access to the facility and everything that we needed to get the laser scanning and photographic reference that we need to create the track. We were very fortunate to be at Le Mans at the most important time of the year and gain that experience of being there. And we're going to really do the best we can to put that into our work and making sure that the Le Mans in iRacing is the best Le Mans, the most exciting and accurate recreation of the track possible.
Welcome back, everybody, to iRacing Live for round 22 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship from the Nordschleife at the Nürburgring in Germany. Andrew Woodhouse with Adam Bath and Alex Simpson. And Alex, I'll bring you in first this time, mate. We have the overcast conditions here in this one, and we actually have a change of format too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, overcast track temperature has dropped somewhat. I could bring up my mini-map, but I know it won't work. It certainly won't fit.
21 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, so 18 degrees ambient, overcast, 21 degrees, like you say, on the track temp. So it was slippy that first sort of, first couple of sectors in the last race. It's going to be even worse this time. We know how bad the Kia is with the cold temperatures, and the pressures take a little bit of time to build up, and it just amplifies that issue. And for a change of format, so we're just going for the 3 races tonight. There's a limitation in the minimum amount of laps that can be used in a hosted session for a race, which is 3, which is why they did the timed race, and it was sort of, the checker flag come out there. It just caused a few problems, as we saw at the end of that one. So we're now going to two more races tonight with 3-lap runs, just so that the reverse grid can be sorted out much easier, and the final standings will be accurate as well. Might have to all be modified, because I imagine that your own right now is banging his head against a desk trying to sort out the standings. So yeah, makes much more sense now.
The Oracle himself, of course, Johan Kaiser. Yeah, and Alex, of course, it was first sector that claimed Daniel Kraft in the last race and made him drop down the order.
Yeah, good start. Looked like he was going to stick his nose in there and actually take the lead at the start, and then just so easy to lose the back end. And like I said, there's a few people that come on the chat afterwards as well, and sort of maybe had a little moan here and there about people checking up and things like that. And I think this track is certainly a unique track, and people need to expect the unexpected here as well, because everybody knows every corner and how fast you can carry it. So just be wary of anything and everything.
Because Adam, if it had been any other track on the calendar, I think Daniel Kraft would have had the lead going into turn 1.
Yes, and it also doesn't help that it wasn't a very long run down to the first corner, is it really? You're getting on the gas and then really got to be on the brakes again for the first corner, so there's not much of an opportunity for you to advance your position. But it would have been a different story really if Kraft had possibly taken the lead. He wouldn't have had that incident that would have led to him dropping down the order and finishing in what was eventually 13th place in the end when the timings were all sorted out. So he's now going to have to fight his way back through the field after the reverse grid. We'll see if he's able to get a better results in the next 2 races.
And really, Alex, with a crash like that on lap 1, this track probably played to his advantage as well, because the field was much more spread out, and also quite a lot of people retired, so he didn't fall down the order as much as we thought he may.
No, exactly that, and I think we sort of alluded at the start of the broadcast today that just finishing and keeping the car pointing forward is going to be the main thing. You're going to pick up places because it's a tight track, it's difficult to drive, and there are plenty of opportunities to get past. It's easy for drivers to make mistakes and a big long straight and things like that. As we saw Wojciech get a couple of places just on that straight alone. So there's definitely places to make some moves.
We forget, Adam, as well. We talk about the length of the Nordschleife very often, but we forget how technical it is and how there's some great corners on the track which really command all your attention. It's so easy to get it wrong.
Yeah, it is really, because the track isn't very wide at all. And as you can see where all the cars are running through, it's either separated by a bit of grass and then an Armco barrier. So if you get out wide, and of course the marbles will be getting carried over from the last race and of course this race into race 3. If you get out wide, there won't be too much grip, and then you could face a trip to the Armco barrier, and they aren't the most forgiving barriers in the world. You'll definitely get some damage. And as we saw in race 1, we had quite a few cars in the pits, and some cars trying to struggle their way back to the finish, such as Nick McCarron.
Alex, it's very much if there's one track to compare the Nordschleife to, which is maybe an unusual comparison, it's possibly Watkins Glen, isn't it? Because the Armco barrier is very close, as Adam said.
Yeah, in some sense, I could I can see how you say that, and quite a quick track as well, especially in this Kia. There's not a lot of corners that you're going to be taking in first gear, if any. To be honest, I think even the carousel, it's probably second gear.
There might be one hairpin that's slow enough to take in the first gear, possibly.
But you're right. I think generally all round, it's a pretty quick circuit.
I mean, when we were stood on the tarmac of the old bridge corner at Silverstone, anybody who's been there will know what we're talking about. But we were walking along there and thinking just how wide the circuit was, Adam. And it's not the luxury that people have here at the Nürburgring, is it?
Oh yeah, most definitely not. And that's why it's pretty hard to overtake here, really. And we saw most of our overtakes really down that really long straight. And it was quite interesting to see the slipstreaming work there, because once, if you had more than one car behind, it's pretty disastrous if you're the car in front, because you've got no way really of fending off yourself, because that's it's the really long straight, and that's really the longest straight we've got on the entire circuit, and two, it's probably the widest part of the circuit as well, so not much way of you putting up some sort of defence.
We have now advanced the session, so everyone's in. The warm-up has been cut short because we are
it turns out
almost ready for the start. And
our reverse grid planning, Andrew, seems to be a bit wrong.
Is it?
Yeah, because Julian Janowski's on the pole.
Well, there we are.
Stuart Atkinson second, Peter Van Gool's in third, Lee Berridge fourth, Dan Hunt's fifth, Richard Gore is in sixth, Rob Fagg seventh, eighth Simon Field, ninth Michael Hall, and 10th Andrew Brown, 11th Dan Kraft, 12th Jamie Rushworth, 13th Pete Newman, 14th Matt Bunn, 15th Paul Smith, 16th David Baker, 17th Pete Harrod, 18th Alex Molensky, 19th Colin Cunniff, 20th is Jack McIntyre, 21st Wojciech Swiderowicz, 22nd Stelian Czepelewski, 23rd our race 1 winner Stelian Czepelewski, Michael Schaubach 23rd, Michael Schaubach, our race 1 winner.
Michael Blake 24th, so we weren't out by much as the start is upon us then. The red lights are on here at the Nordschleife. Green light is on. That's a great start from Janowski from the front row. Who's making a move? That's Lee Berridge.
Whoa!
Missed contact with Van Gool.
Atkinson's off, so Atkinson didn't last long at all there.
Atkinson's round, and he's not going to be able to get round for a while. Oh, the leader's off, and it's a smash. It's a big smash. It's Janowski spun off.
Car
and
off into the trees.
Plowed into the accident scene.
Dan
Richard
Hunt's
Gore's
off.
on his roof.
Oh, well, we can't throw a safety car, and I don't think we will.
There's still people not slowing down.
Yellow flags.
Bloody hell, slow down.
Well, we've got Savidovic off, car 4. So that's another big name involved. Simon Field, I can tell you.
Oh, they're still... sorry, Adam. They're still crashing. Still crashing away and banging away in the middle of this field. Paul Smith is off. And... oh, my goodness me. What a mess.
Right, let's take stock then. Who's leading the race? It
We
is
don't know.
Lee Berridge. It's Lee Berridge that
Well,
leads. And he's battling away with Simon Field in the friction racing cars. We come up to the top of the hill. They're going very slow through there. That's going to allow... Who's that in third place? Is that Dan Kraft?
Yes, I think it is. It's hard to tell. Let me see. Yes, it is.
So Dan Kraft, after starting outside the top 10, he's going to try and go for the lead. Friction. Simpson versus
Berridge.
Friction.
Now, if Berridge puts his car in the middle of the track down here, it's going to be very difficult for Kraft to... for Field to get through, but he is going through, and so is Daniel Kraft, and that's very, very good from the Friction racing car and the Simpson racing car, and just behind them then is Matthew Bunn up into 4th place, so excellent work from him. He's up from 14th place, and it's always good to see Matt Bunn doing well, and here he is.
So Lee Berridge, he started 4th, he's in 3rd. Simon Field started 8th and is now 2nd. Meanwhile, Dan Kraft started in 11th and is now leading the race.
We will bring you a list of all the casualties at the end of lap 1 when we actually get the timing and scoring complete. Alex, that was, well, I mean, there's not many words to describe that, is there?
14 car wreck, so pretty impressive. If you're going to do it, you've got to do it properly, I guess. So, it did look good. And I tell you what, you wanted some similarities to Watkins, Glenn? Well, there it is. There's nowhere to go at Watkins when there's a crash on that first lap. And there's nowhere to go here either. All the traffic just bounced back into the way of everyone else. There's nothing anyone could do there. and it looks diabolical. But you know what? If that happened in a real race, you would have exactly the same, but without the flipping, of course. So it's just crazy. Just nowhere to go, and that's a bit of a combination of the very cold track, really, and drivers just not knowing what to expect, and just the nature of the tyre and on the Kia at the minute.
It was all Janowski loses it going into turn 2, and then just spears across the track. He has the old wiggle of death. And as the Kia is absolutely flying through this final sector now, I think we are coming on to the Dottinger Hope for the first time of this race, with Daniel Kraft then. Well, it's not quite there, it's the wrong corner, I think.
We're coming up to the big carousel, I think, for the first time.
There's so many corners that look quite similar on this track from afar. And yeah, so Daniel Kraft then, coming through that middle sector, and with a decent lead over Simon Fielder. It's about 2 seconds, and he's already got this race well in hand. It's 3 laps though, and Alex, 3 laps around this Nordschleife is more of a test than what a lot of people would think.
It's not easy at all. Just going to try and find some battles on track at the moment. We've got Rob Graham and Diego Melro there having a little bit of a battle. They're tucked up behind who's that? That's Mark Johnston. Just behind them they've got Craig Evans and Dan Blake as well, so a good little battle starting to form up here. Lauren Murray just behind Rob Plumley at the moment.
Murray in short position, that is.
Help
me out with that one.
27th place, and just sort of flipping through the battles. You've got Roy Verke in 16th, 17th. You've got John Roberts and Laura Bond in 18th as well. They're pretty closely tucked up to each other at the moment.
Been a very impressive season for Roy Verke. Adam, you've covered him in 2 series here on Apex Racing TV, and he's doing very well in both.
Yeah, he's 18th in the standings here. He's doing a great job then for the Automech team, and in this race he's gained quite a few positions. As Alex said, he's inside the top 20. He started in 30th. John Roberts behind him started in 31st, and Laura Bond started in 35th. So
he did a
he's
great
on for some good results.
Did a great carousel there as well, Adam, and he gained quite a bit of time. The carousel's a funny old corner, isn't it? Because you've always got to be so slow and patient. But if you get a really good slingshot out of there, it really does propel you through this middle sector, and you can see that Nick McCarron now coming under a bit of pressure from Rusty Lather, who's got a bit of damage on that Kia Optima.
Yeah, you've got to be patient with the carousel, and when we were trying it at Silverstone the other day, we go in it too quickly, it spits you right back out, and then you're having to go very slowly around the outside and not in that very cambered section on the inside. So yeah, the carousel, it's a big challenge for any car really, and they're definitely doing a good job here in these Kia Optimas. So we're coming around to complete the first lap of the race, as there's a CQR Academy car. Matt Bunn has sustained a whole lot of damage to his Academy car. I don't know whether that's been sustained recently, and Fields having to under pressure.
Yeah, he must have made a big mistake somewhere, because Berridge is all over him.
Oh, I hear a crash.
Oh, there is a crash.
It's an Alpha Tech car. It's Chepelevsky.
Stellian is in the wall
big time, and that car looks toast. So there you go. That's how easy it can change around.
He was trying to get past Bunn. I think, and he puts 2 wheels into the grass, and it's off.
Have a look at that on replay. See what happened.
Heading down Dottinger Ho then is Daniel Kraft, and he's got quite a sizable advantage now.
Oh,
really?
He just slipped there. I tell you what, those tyres still don't look up to full pressure. The rear end just come around as he was trying to work the car there. So
where on earth has McIntyre come from? Jack McIntyre is he's going to take 2nd place here. Started 20th after 1 lap of the Nordschleife. He's up to 2nd place, but it could be 3rd, because coming back is Lee Berridge. Has he got anywhere to overtake to this extremely fast section? Come on, boys, you've survived the first lap, you survived all that rubbish. Do not want to be taking each other off now.
And of course they've got 2 more laps when they get to the line.
Think of the points, Adam. These guys here, especially McIntyre and Berridge, who aren't always used to being in this position.
Steve Hefford and Ross Balfour as well, just exchanging positions. So it looks like Balfour up. He's another driver who's had a very good season for for a rookie season.
Who's that, Balfour? Yes.
Yeah, Balfour.
Yeah, great season for him.
It's like when
off goes Field and very nearly. That was nearly the end of him, to be honest.
Tell you what, it's like when the NASCAR teams and drivers head to the big super speedways like Talladega. They just think getting through the race and getting points as a result, and I think that's what all the drivers are thinking of here. Simon Field, I think, starting to get a bit held up here underneath Lee Berridge, heading through this section of the track which leads on to a brilliant section, this straight which goes downhill, uphill, almost the car's getting into the air, where a GT3 car had a huge incident here a year or so ago.
Absolutely frightening crash that was, and that's one of the worst. That's one of the worst things I think I've ever seen in motor racing. But I tell you what, one of the best things Daniel Kraft will have ever seen in motor racing is him having a 6.3 second lead after the first lap. Yes.
Not too many drivers can say that, and I think was it Schumacher in Monaco about 97. He had like a 7-second lead after one lap. He's now heading his way, negotiating that hairpin,
which was much better than Schumacher in 1996 at Monaco.
Oh yeah, it didn't last half a lap or so, crashing in lows.
But we won't talk about that one. As Lee Berridge coming under a lot of pressure from Simon Field. Alex, he's just showing just how hard it is to overtake round here, isn't it?
There's just not a lot of room. It's very, very narrow. I think, you kind of, in this section of the circuit, you really need to have someone make just a little mistake so that you can just sneak past and keep it pointing forward. It makes it very difficult, but Berridge does make a little mistake there, but unfortunately Simon made one just a lap, just a corner before. A lot
of this is one line as well, isn't it? So the fast kinks and things like that, it's almost like trying to overtake on a rally stage.
It's, in places it's almost impossible. I've watched a few races around here, even in smaller single-seaters. They really struggle to get alongside, even though you can carry sort of two cars through there. Good battle forming up between Paverke and Bond. They're just 0.6 of a second away from each other as well.
There was a bit of contact there, Adam, between Simon Field and Lee Berridge going through the middle part of the lap.
Not surprised, and just a change of position behind them. Shellback's been able to get past Bunn. Bunn, I think, just led him by going through the left-hander section just before the one we're on now. So that's Bunn down a position to 6th. Shellback now up into 5th. So the race 1 winner started 23rd. He's up to 6th place. Tell you what,
can't count him out completely, though, at this point, of a top 3, possibly.
Yeah, because we've got Simon Field and Berridge battling away. We saw Bunn pick up damage a lap or so ago later on around this lap, so he could pick up another position. So that's going to be brilliant at the end of the race when we look at what cars started inside the top 10 that finished there.
Yeah, it's currently 2, so we'll see what happens. We're going to see what happens at the end. Haven't looked to see if anybody's made a move. Russell Laidler started 44th and he's up to 13th place.
That's brilliant. That's a lot big achievement there.
That is one lap.
We have got 20 cars out, though, I might want to add as well. 20 cars retired now. So
actual retirement, oh dear. So yeah, none of them has really come back out either, have they?
While it sounds impressive, just staying on track will have gained you that many places.
Oh, sorry, Rusty.
Whoa, this battle's intensifying then between Berridge and Field.
Almost wide again.
With the right-hander, Shellback's closed under them immensely. It's just down this straight. I wonder if he's either got a good setup or these guys are just getting held up behind Berridge. Let's see then. We're heading up to the carousel for the second time of 3, and now Field's having to get on the defensive from Shellback.
Funny how it switches around, isn't it? 1 minute. That's a terrible camera angle. Have you seen the same one that I've just seen?
We get a nice view of a barrier.
What's the point of that? It goes from Simon Field attacking Lee Berridge. Suddenly he gets the pressure from Shellback, and he's having to use every part of the circuit to keep that Kia Optima in 4th place. Sorry.
Great free car battle then for what is the runners-up spot in this race. Dan Kraft is miles ahead. And so is Jack McIntyre in 2nd place. So this is actually for the battle for the final spot on the podium. Through this double left right-hander, Shellback gets a good run. Surely he's not going to have a lunge up the inside there. Puts his car there, and Field gets out wide.
Field's made a mess of that, and he's having to make a...
So heading towards this final section of the lap, Andrew, let's just tell everyone about this great service it is iRacing, which we're watching the action on tonight. Field's looking down the inside. We'll talk you through about it in a second.
We'll have to. I think we're going to have to talk about this little battle just for the moment. Lap 2 of 3, and well, Alex, this is the part of the track I was really talking about, where it's very much single file here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nowhere to go. You can see there's barely enough room
here
to
comes
get
Shellback.
the cars side by side.
Oh!
Tell you what, if he was just a few more centimetres over, he would have been spun. He would have started spinning, really.
Yeah, sorry, Alex, you were saying, mate.
No, just exactly that. There's just so little room. You could see them there, just not the room really to go side by side. So
You don't have the confidence either, really, do you, to make an overtake on a track like
so
this?
easy to be run out wide. I think that's the issue, isn't it? You try and get by, and just the track sort of flows back and forth all over the place. So you can find yourself on the outside very quickly, just getting pushed out towards that encore, or even to the grass, which is pretty much a recipe for disaster.
There's also quite a noticeable crown in the road in some places as well. As onto Dottinger then we go, and this is going to be tough for
McIntyre is
Berich.
closing in on Kraft.
That was
down
my
to
next question.
5.7 seconds, where it was 6.3 at the end of the lap. So it's been quick. Here comes Shellback.
Oh, here we go.
3 wide.
Spreading out 3 wide.
3 wide down the back straight.
Here we go, then sort each other out into the left-hand kink. I think Berridge is going to try and get back, and Simon Field, unfortunately, hasn't been able to get past Berridge down that straight.
Berridge did the smart thing there, though, didn't he? He pulled right into the slipstream immediately of Michael Shellback, and that pretty much saved his 4th place.
Yeah, 0.6 of a second. McIntyre was quicker that lap, so not huge amounts, not enough to close in. Needs another 5 seconds a lap to get it done. Any other track,
You could
that
do
would
that
sound,
here, though.
Yeah, any other track would sound ridiculous, but actually, if you've got the bit between your teeth and a bit of confidence, you could do that. But Shellback's off as well.
You only need a mistake or two, though, Alex, and for you to have a perfect lap, and could be right there for the back straight and have the slipstream. Yes, everyone else at home can join us on iRacing here as well. It's great service, subscription service. All you need is a pedal set and a decent steering wheel. You can use a controller, but it's not recommended. And it costs a decent PC that will run iRacing. There are a lot of cars, a lot of tracks to choose from. Oval, there is road. There are officially licensed championships such as the Blancpain Endurance Series, the
NASCAR
P23
Series,
thank you, and the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series as well, and surely to be adding more in the future. We've just announced dirt tracks are coming. That is not an April Fool. Dirt tracks are coming to iRacing. Rallycross will probably be coming as well. So get yourself signed up to iRacing. Come and join the community here with the Kia Optima. 3 or 4 different really good series that you can join in the Kia Optima, of course.
Yeah, all the tracks worth pointing out, laser scan to absolute pinpoint accuracy as well. So if you're a fan of the Nordschleife, you've drove it in real life, well, come and get it on an iRacing as well. It's the closest you can get to driving the real thing.
It's not guesswork. This version of the Nordschleife, it is within, I think it's a couple of millimeters accuracy, and yeah, and some of these drivers are showing just how well it can be driven. I'm very impressed with Lee Berridge here, Adam, because on a normal day, and this is no disrespect to Lee, he's a good driver, but on a normal day you wouldn't expect him to be hanging with Michael Shellback, Simon Field and co, and he's not just hanging with them, he's outperforming few former race winners by quite a margin.
Well, Lee Berridge in the Pro-Am standings is in 19th place, and I don't know what position that leaves him in the main championship, but let's just say it's not high. And no, and Simon Field's desperately trying to get past him, but he's holding his own. He knows
52nd.
It's 50 seconds. Wow, and you can just tell that he knows that on this part of the circuit it's very hard for Field to get past, so he's just putting his car in the right place, running at his own pace, and we saw when we went down the straight the last time around he was able to get back in the slipstream of Shellback, was it, that was getting past, and was able to maintain his position ahead of Simon Field. Let's see if he can do that for the rest of this final lap, because Simon Field will be getting more and more impatient.
Now, Alexander Smolenski has got past Matthew Bunn, but this lot aren't really catching the battle between Berridge and Field now. So, what's the gap at the front, Alex?
Yeah, 6 seconds, so gone up 0.3, so better lap for Kraft. Maybe he heard that it was being closed down, just wanted to keep that as it is. Or maybe McIntyre just settled for that second place as he's got a 9-second gap to Shellback behind him.
0.3 a lap sounds ridiculous around here, doesn't it? But it all counts as Field looking to find a way to make this pressure count now.
Such a quick change of direction around that circuit from right to left, and that's what made it look so dramatic as Field runs just a little bit wide. I don't think it will affect it at all now. This right-hander is brilliant. Look at the cars going through there and then up hard on the brakes. This quick left and then this hairpin, which will take you up to the carousel for the final time. Let's see if there's any time gained or lost through here. Lee Berridge for Engine All Direct, Simon Field for Simpson Racing, and in the background you can just see the sim racer car of Alex Smolenski. Through the carousel we go. Oh, Berridge just gets a bit wide.
And that's what we were talking about. Adam, you get hung up on that top section, the flat section with no banking. If you go up there too early, you're going to be in trouble, and that's what's happened to Lee Berridge. He's now lost the position, so he needs to stay behind Simon Field for as long as possible. See if he can get the run down Dottingerhoe and into the final chicane. And it's possible that Alex Smolenski may get involved by the end of the lap. But, sorry?
2.6 seconds back, and you can see him now in the background as well. He is coming.
Going quickly enough. We're not sure.
2.2. Oh, a little mistake from Berridge there as well.
All I can see is trees. There we go.
The new trees do look good,
all those custom paint, custom camera people out there. Can we please have one for the Nordschleife? Because, yeah, trees in every shot. Andrew Whitehead going well as well, up to 11th place.
Ross Balfour survived. Steve Hefford as well.
Yeah, Hefford in the top 10, good performance. Starting
Jay
way
Wright
down.
closing in on Laidler as well. That's 0.7 of a second.
John Roberts up to 16th.
Going to go back to this sort of around this Berridge area as well, because is that the leader? It's the leader, Kraft into the wall.
No! He's in the wall.
No!
Is that McIntyre into the lead?
Here come the rest of them. Here comes Shellback. Are you going to see it? Yes, he does. Thank goodness. Dan Kraft is able to get the car facing the right way in time. But that is now Shellback into second, and Jack McIntyre into what is the race lead.
Just going to have a little replay.
Unbelievable, Jeff.
See exactly what happened. I mean, we're on the last lap. I don't want to miss the finish. Oh, he just hit the curb and it just speared him into the encore there. Just, so easy. He's...
Well,
thank you very much, says McIntyre. I'll take that.
That was an unbelievable little sequence of events that we just had on this third lap here at the Nordschleife. But going down...
Look at that battle now, though.
Look at it, but
he's losing. Kraft, losing all the ground. Field up into third. Smolenski's not really there, but close.
You can look at that all we want, I suppose, but we have got
Chad McIntyre's
chance
never
of
won.
a first-time winner coming through in the BSR TC. Just got a couple of corners to go after a great drive, a fantastic drive. 20th on the grid, Jack McIntyre. 2 corners to go. Through the last one he comes. Yes, and he wins at the Nordschleife. Jack McIntyre. And it's going to be Shellback in second. Third is going to be Simon Field.
Yeah, Dan Kraft's still limping back to the end. Lee Berridge will come across the line and finish in what will be...
Smolenski.
Berridge lost a whole load of positions on that straight down towards the end, because Simmons and Smolenski both got past him. So he finished in 6th, Bunn in 7th. Kraft limped across the line in 8th place in the end after leading for the entire race, and just had the little carousel in the last 2 corners before Dottingerhoe to negotiate, but unfortunately finishes in 8th. Ross Balfour 35th to 9th. A great job from him, and Steve Hefford rounding out the top 10. He started 34th. So, yeah, only 2 cars that started inside the top 10 finish there.
Laidler dropped down as well. He was in about 11th place.
Kip Stevens and Non Murray battling it out on the straight as well. Final lap as well. This is for, according to my screen, 19th and 20th, but I think there's been some tweaks and changes to the timing screen there. And yeah, Kip just carrying that extra momentum. That straight is so long, you need a good sort of like 9/10 to a second of advantage going into that if you're going to hold on to that position.
Just 2 corners to go then, and Kip Stevens will most surely come across the line in front unless he doesn't make a mistake into that final corner. No, he doesn't cross the line, they both go. And that will put Kip Stevens finishing in 20th place, 21st for Lorne Murray. Got any other cars on the lead lap? Apparently the last car there is, here he is,
Robert
Ben Hackerson.
Graham's coming as well, isn't he? And Svidovic.
As well. So Svidovic, who of course had that problem in turn 2, that big wreck that he was involved with.
Car's crabbing all over the place there, Adam. That can't have been pretty to drive around this track.
For 3 laps as well.
Yeah, he did well in the end to finish the race.
Points count though, don't they? That's the important thing, you know, he managed to limp that home. That's...
Reverse grid as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in with the shout there. Hackerson was the last car running. He's going to be over 2 minutes down. But he's gained a place on the last lap because we also lost Dan Blake on the final lap as well. Blake will score, but he won't finish. In football, that'd be very strange indeed.
And yes, Cesario Rizzo shown in the pits as well. So 26 or 25 cars were classified.
Diogo Melrose still running. It's a lap down, but he's one of the few that did manage to either get back out or he just didn't come into the pits and he just limped along. But you know what? Points count, Alex, and he's done well to get to the end because that thing looks like a state.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Mario Kart.
We know how important the points are for this series. You know, just finishing. So everybody's, even though that it's probably not pleasurable to drive out there for 3 laps.
It's like a shopping trolley.
Yeah, they're going to do it regardless.
I've seen better handling shopping trolleys actually. That was terrible, but it's going to get to the end. I wonder if he was involved in the first lap nonsense that went on, but Diego Mero comes through. And
29th.
That is 29th, so yeah, so behind Paul Smith and Dave Baker, who also finished the race, didn't finish the race, but they were 1 lap down. We got anybody else still going? Oh, Stuart Atkinson still going as well.
I wonder if he's Stuart Atkinson.
Where's he?
He's in 36th, but I don't know what position that is officially.
Surely that's the first sector. He's on cool down lap, isn't he? Yeah, he's on cool down lap.
He looks like he's going.
That's not the. I'm trying to remember where.
He's going fairly quickly, so I'm not sure.
He's just heading down towards the little carousel section at the end of the lap, I think.
Oh, so he's still going. This is a fast lap, I think, from Stuart Atkinson. I think he is the last man still running. I'm just checking down the list just in case. Oh, Jörg Dankert's still running as well, but he's coming through the final sector, so I think you're right about Atkinson. Atkinson, yeah, Dankert's finishing his lap. Horribly damaged car. He can barely turn the car. Look.
Finish
again,
to finish.
This is what this track comes. Yeah, this is what it makes you do. And Jörg Dankert there finishing the race and actually going up to 30th. All the way down from, I think, 43rd he was. So
will this put Atkinson...
Just doing that extra lap, it gives him 13 more places, Adam.
I think this will give Atkinson then 7 more places. Also, about 7 or 6 as he comes down the long straight.
So Atkinson's actually... He must have had a problem on that lap because he ended up finishing behind Dankert. He was 6 places in front of him. Coming on to the final lap. Let's see him finish. It's always nice on these tracks, I think, to see everybody crossing the line, because it is an achievement. You get round this Nordschleife 3 times. 3 times in a row without binning it, and I think you've done very well indeed. So we'll see. I've said that. We need to see if he makes it through the finals.
Last corner.
I hope he does. Come on, Stuart. As do the last quite a tricky last sector. This actually looks quite straightforward, but the first part's very fast, and the second part has gigantic curbs, which you actually need to avoid if you can. Coming through then, Atkinson.
31st.
See, look at the difference. The difference that made for Stuart Atkinson.
And for Eclectic Motorsport, of course, they'll be loving those points.
Yeah, and the other difference it will make for Stuart Atkinson is that he's now available for the full slot on the reverse grid. So actually, he's got the best chance of winning the pole position, Alex.
2 shots at it, yeah.
Adam, could you take us through who the eligibility falls to? And it's everyone down to 25th.
So yeah, let's have a look then. 16 down to 25, I think it is now. So John Roberts, Nick McCarron, Craig Evans, Mark Johnston. Haven't seen that name in a while. Kip Stevens, Law Murray, Wojciech Savidovic, Robert Graham, Ben Hackerson, Dan Blake, or 2 shots at it for Stuart Atkinson, who finished down in 31st. So let's see who's going to be on pole for the third and final race of the evening. Only 3 races tonight.
It will be bad luck for everyone else if Savidovic gets it, won't it? Really?
He didn't have a good race too, but we'll see if he's able to help his fortunes for the third race, yeah.
He's not had a lot of luck this season, really, and he is leading the points, so...
It's quite different, isn't it? Because, yeah, he's taken all the wins, like last season. But yeah, it's just the consistency this season that doesn't seem to be going for him. But let's see what happens.
Oh, I thought we were going to get 23rd again. It might make 21. It does.
And that's Lawn Murray. Lawn Murray's on to pole position.
So it will not be Wojciech Savidovic. He'll be a bit frustrated with that. Start down in 22nd place. So Lawn Murray on pole position. Right then, we're going to get shooting off as soon as we can to try and get this last session in play. So it's going to be the third round of the evening then. Just one more race tonight from the Nürburgring Nordschleife here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. It's the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship.
I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
in this place gonna party.
Welcome back. We're live on the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. We are on the grid for round 23 and Lorne Murray on pole position. So we're going to see if he can take a victory in this race. 3-lap race, of course. The Nordschleife. 46 cars on the grid. We're going to see what's going to happen. So any second now the lights are going to go red. And then we're going to get the green light shortly after. Here we go then. Green light is on, cracking start from Stevens. Johnston is coming through and Evans as well. Poor start for Murray.
Murray getting forced out wide then. Let's see what's going to happen when we head down to turn 2. This is where all the carnage was. And race 2, swinging it in there goes Russell Laidlow. He had loads of confidence in the car there. 2x2 sim racer car and an engine all direct car going at it. In towards the chicane.
One car in the fence.
Much cleaner though.
It was a New Homes Digital car, Spicer Heart car. Sorry, I'm not sure who that was actually. Green Spicer Heart car.
That might be Plumley.
Oh, it could be. Oh, look again for Plumley. That won't be a long stream, I don't think, on YouTube.
Heading up towards then the top of the hill for the first time then. It's who's leading? It's Kip Stevens. Stevens leads Craig Evans, then it's Mark Johnston, then it's Russell Laidler, then John Roberts' car sideways. I think it's a blue frick. Oh, and another car off Andrew Whitehead. It was almost on his roof there into the Armco barrier, and now he's facing the wrong side of the track and on the grass, and a bit of damage sustained there.
Walensky's been very quick throughout the meeting, side by side with Field.
McIntyre and Balfour as well. Those guys been also.
That's a big one.
And there's this engine all direct car off. There's a CQR car off.
In the air.
Sim racer car number 28. And
it comes down and lands like a Scud missile.
And
we were looking. There was
the
another one
Daniel
further
Hunt's
up the
car.
track that we were looking at as well on screen, so everything kicking off at once. Let's take a look back, see what that was about.
Dan Blake probably felt like he was in the Battle of Britain for a little while there. He was that high up in the air.
Oh, someone just... Oh, you can see...
Sorry, they're still going, Alex. There's 3 or 4 more of them. Matthew Bunn. Again, Dan Blake. And... there was a Eurochip, digital-looking car as well. I think it was Rob Fagg. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, no worries. Just watching that back. So, like you say, everybody just rolling.
Everybody's dead, I think. Oh well.
Well, let's
big battle
carry on.
for the. I'm sorry, I can't. After this week, I can't do it. Kip Stevens leads then, if that is his real name, in front of who's that there? Craig McLeod Evans.
Yes, it is.
Automac then. Oh! Off goes Rusty Laidler into the fence. Oh dear.
And he's stuck.
And he's stuck in the. Oh,
problem with front wheel drive. He's got no traction. Oh no, maybe he's off.
Oh, he's got it down. No, he's still stuck in the Armco barrier, I think.
Oh.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Matt Bunn's off, by the way.
I apologise to all the viewers for this. We having such a the carnage that's ensued. First race was so well behaved. It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were able to focus on Shellback for quite a bit and just talks our way through the lap. And yeah, it's all gone crazy in the second race. The battle for the lead's still on though. Kip Stevens under pressure from Craig Evans. I'm sure Automech will be delighted if they could get a shot at taking a race victory. And he's putting immense pressure under the 2-time champion that is Kip Stevens. Here we go, down the straight then. Brilliant section of track.
Oh man, no!
And he's
gone!
Dear me, and somehow he's kept the engine alive.
Going.
I thought the engine would have blown surely, but he's carrying on.
Yeah, but is it safe? Let's see.
No.
Murray goes through. Kraft goes through.
Robertson,
and this
Johnston.
is not going to be good for Evans. Oh dear me.
So this puts Johnston into second.
Oh
no, what's going on?
Evans is still going round and he's trying to keep off the racing line. He is doing so, but almost wiped out the car of Jack McIntyre and Wojciech Savinovic coming through.
Yeah, I thought Savinovic was going to be in a bit of trouble there, but here he comes down to the braking zone. He's having to get out of everyone's way. Balfour's... Oh, he hits Balfour.
Oh, Balfour hits Simmons, I think.
Yeah, that is Simmons. Up towards the carousel,
dear.
Savidovic down the inside. Not often you see move down into the carousel there, and that is Savidovic past Jack McIntyre.
And it's definitely not often you see him move into the carousel because of the cameras.
In fact,
You
I
don't
had,
see
yeah, I
anything.
had to guess then what was happening.
You guessed right, Wojciech Savidovic is through. We'll chalk this one up to experience this week, I think. Nick McCarron is going as well. I'm not even sure what the position he's in, but he's in about third or fourth, I think. Seventh, oh God. Okay. This is going on TV as well, remember.
Wojciech just passed him as well, so... Yeah.
Savidovic, McCarron
Savidovic is fine. Looks like McCarron's got some problems, or just
made a
not
mistake
au
there, I
fait
think.
with the track at all.
Whoa! McIntyre just really surprised McCarron on that one there. Bung the
That
car
one
up
tree
the
looks
inside.
really nice again.
Yes, I've seen that tree's got more airtime than some of the drivers who've retired from the race, I think.
John Roberts under pressure from Kraft, and he hits him. And Kraft, oh no, he hits a Falatech car. That's Shellback still fighting his way through. So Shellback is now in. He's in third place.
We go back to the 3-race format again, and all hell breaks loose. What's going on? We have more bad cameras. Here we go. I can't even tell what's going on. Wojciech Savidovic then is putting pressure on George Simmons. That's not George Simmons at all.
Well, Murray.
That?
Murray.
Sorry. Verbal diarrhea today.
He's round the outside.
Oh,
that was nice.
Beautiful. Yep.
Just carried the extra speed through the corner and used a little bit of the runoff area, the grass, but it
The
worked.
grass, yes. Precious little runoff area here at the Nordschleife.
And that is McIntyre getting past Murray into the
It's quite a
little carousel.
sizable train, Adam, this.
Yeah, we've got one Roberts, we've got McCarron, we've got Viverke, we've got Balfour, Field, Simmons, Smolensky and Smith rounding out the tail end of this battle. I tell you what, this front straight, the Dottinger Hare, is going to be a joy to watch. Here we go.
Murray's on the grass down Nottingham. I don't know how he ended up over there. But yes, Stevens then. Is he going to come under pressure from Mark Johnston? It's great to see Mark Johnston up there. We've not seen him in the league for a long time. But he's got a great slipstream now, Alex, as we heading ourselves down, of course, to the last few corners on the circuit.
3 wide, here we go. It's Automech.
Johnston!
Oh, Johnston, what's going on?
Johnston's on the grass! Is he going to get it done? As the car just twitches. I'm really sorry to interrupt, but
That's fine.
Mark Johnston taking his life into his hands there.
270 kilometres per hour, that.
It's me.
And he's able to hold on. Let's see what happens then. Shellback behind. Then it's Savidovic with the friction racing car. Kraft keeping a watchful eye as well. And we've got McIntyre closing in as well. So fantastic battle here for the race lead. On to lap 2 then. And here comes Shellback down the inside. That's not an overtaking spot. Thankfully he gets out of it. But Johnston just holding on at the moment. Trying to find a way through.
McIntyre's been absolutely marvellous tonight. Very, very good indeed. And there goes Kraft. Having a little look on Shellback, and he just tried to nudge that Kia Optima up the inside there, but he just couldn't quite get the space.
Right, we're about to head on to the fast section of the circuit with a chicane, right, left. Now let's see what's going to happen then. Stevens is away, a few tenths of a second in front. Now here comes Johnston. Let's see if anyone's able to negotiate a way through. Laidler in third, it's Shellback in third, the race 1 and 2 winner.
If Johnson just stays in the slipstream of Stevens, he shouldn't come under threat here, Adam, really.
So Shellback, let's see what happens then. Down the straight, this left kink.
This section is so fast that you get almost as much of a slipstream as you do going down Dottinger Hoe, because you and Johnston's right, Stevens then
So narrow though, that's
down
the
the
trouble.
inside.
Go Shellback, and that's a fantastically opportunistic move
And
there.
Balfour, not Balfour, and Kraft, and Savidovic hits Johnston. And McIntyre has to get on the brakes.
Yeah, Johnson saved it for the best part as well. Somehow, it looked impressive, I have to say.
Shellback looking to go through into the lead, Alex. Looked impressive tonight.
Won race 1, of course. Didn't take it in race 2, though, due to Jack McIntyre taking the win. Here comes Kraft.
Oh, and he hits Shellback.
Oh, he
Shellback
saves it.
sideways. Kraft's getting a nudge from
Here comes
Savidovic. What's trying to get... Oh, where can he go, though?
Oh, it's narrow there.
Can't
everyone.
go anywhere.
Who's going to have the position into this left-hander then?
Alex, that's what we spoke about earlier, isn't it? It's just, you know, once you get side by side, it's kind of fine, but it's just getting there, isn't it?
Back down the inside, yeah.
Kraft should there you go, just about edges in front here. He had the pace earlier on. The only driver who seemed to be
Johnston hits Davidovich.
Well,
having a bit of that back, I think there.
But it's me. That fast section though, it was a really opportunistic move by Dan Kraft, wasn't it, Alex? Because Johnston was trying to set up Stevens and left the door open. Sorry, Shellback was, sorry. And now again, Adam. He's an overtaking spot.
McIntyre on the inside of
Whoa,
Johnston.
round the outside. That's fantastic there by Johnston.
That's not easy to do at all.
I think if Jack can get through, he certainly can give any of these guys at the front a run for this victory as well. And we know Svidovic is good.
On the grass is Daniel Kraft.
Kraft trying to work his way around. He's done it. He's through.
Can he stay in front? Yeah, I think he can. That was nice from Dan Kraft. Now it's up to be honest, if it's going to be somebody who's going to win this race, it's going to be Shellback or McIntyre on pace terms. But, as Johnston gets nudged again, I think Savidovic may have been involved in that. And can Stevens get back into contention as Shellback touches the grass once again, Adam? And these guys taking real risks in this car. You do not want to be putting this front-wheel drive Kia Optima on the grass at all, but, well, you know, these guys are making it work so far. Well, there you go.
And off goes Shellback, and he's going to come back on.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you shouldn't do that.
We've already had one Alfa Latek car off into the Armco. We don't want to have another one. Here we go down towards the carousel on lap 2. 1.5 laps to go.
Stevens a bit wide. Shellback's going to have a run, but you cannot really make an out-braking move into the carousel. But we'll see if everyone... we can't see anything. We'll see if anybody can take the carousel. Somebody's made a mistake at the carousel. I think it was McIntyre, yes.
And he's now side by side with Johnston as we head towards this left-hander. Up towards this left-hander. And now
Indeed.
Balfour will come down the inside, absolutely.
Yes.
And now towards the chicane. Balfour's not able to get down the inside. They're not afraid to take those curbs, though.
Absolutely. Yes, let's see if... side by side with Vidovic, yes.
Wonder what happened there. I wonder if it's just a small mistake for Stevens, but he's now lost a position to the Season 6 champion that is Wojciech Savidovic. He was trying to get past Shellback, Andrew, and he just got hung out to dry, and that's what allowed Savidovic through.
Yes, the driver of Wojciech Savidovic going through. Somebody's gone, though. Somebody's gone behind them. Who's that?
It's Johnston. It's Johnston.
Oh, man. And, he's going to shove Field off the course there.
Will Field be happy with that? I know.
I don't think...
Flanagan wouldn't if that was him. And now that's allowed the eclectic motorsport car through John Roberts.
So you've got.
And now can't say it. We're heading towards the right-hander. The little carousel is on the horizon here. Stevens then lost a few positions there, and he's all over the place just trying to hold off Ross Balfour. Balfour, of course, the newcomer to the championship this season, has had a fantastic season so far, up inside those showdown positions. Let's see if there's any battles in front. So Kraft is back out in front. Let's hope he doesn't crash off this time like he did in race 2. Shellback in second, Savidovic third, McIntyre fourth, fifth it is Kip Stevens, sixth Ross Balfour, seventh Simon Field, eighth John Roberts, ninth is John Stanton, and is off! He is off and he's into the trees, and that is his race over.
How did he end up in the trees?
He hit the Armco barrier back across the circuit, and that was the end.
That was a big old crash, that was.
I was just, yeah.
Wow. That was unexpected. I was about to say, it's probably irrelevant now, but I think when Johnston shoved Field wide, he probably didn't even know he was there. He was just recovering from his own excursion, but... Let's see then, as we are heading on to Dottingerhoe now for the second time.
Kip Stevens, tell you what, Kip Stevens started first, he's now down to 7th.
Yeah, and it's gonna be 8th potentially here, isn't it?
Close up front.
Balfour's coming through. Let's see the front.
Shellback v Savidovic.
Stevens isn't 7th, he's about 5th, isn't he?
About 5th, yeah.
So it's Kraft coming down, and they haven't quite managed to get the slipstream that time. Alex Savidovic he's been in sniffing distance, but there's no braking area there at all.
Now I think it's all going to come down to this last lap, that last straight. See who's going to get it. Are they going to be patient and wait? Do you want to be at the front going into that? Surely for Kraft, he feels like he might have the pace just to eke away, but Shellback's been equally as quick all race long. So, it's difficult. I think you'd prefer to be second place, wouldn't you, going into that?
Definitely.
He can stay there, and I mean, I think Shellback has the pace. We've seen that, and we've actually seen Savidovic as the evening goes on get faster. So he wasn't particularly quick in race one. He wasn't bad, but I think the real person here who could still make a difference is Jack McIntyre, because he's extremely quick in this Gear Optima on this circuit at least. And
we can get that 1.3 seconds, 1.2, where he's getting the draft through this section and actually close in, then we could have 4 cars going for it on the final lap, which would be awesome.
This is the real key section, isn't it? And we may get a move for the lead before we get to Dottingham.
Shellback's right with him.
Yeah, and in fact, the only thing, I mean, Kraft could possibly try and place his car in the middle of the road, but we've seen that certain drivers, Alex, they're not afraid to use the grass to get through.
We're talking about the grass. There was a little piece of it there from Shellback, but manages to hold on to it. But any chance of an overtake that he had went out the window as it become an exercise to save the car.
Car was dancing around there and somehow was able to hold on to it. It's not over though. Looking this way and that. He's looking to the outside now as we head down towards this chicane complex. Round the outside, is he going to try and do it? Look how quick that is. Speeding past our cameras there. Now he's going to try and get the cut back into the chicane.
This is just what McIntyre needs as well. All this battling down to 1.2 seconds. And he can sniff the slipstream right now.
And it's what Wojciech Savidovic needs as well.
So we've got big stories in all of these guys in the top 4. We've got Kraft, who was leading all of race 2, then crashed just a few corners before the end. We've got Shellback, who won race 1. He wants to take 2 race wins tonight.
And Kraft was leading race 1 and crashed.
Yeah.
In the first sector.
So he definitely wants to get some points on the board, and no better way than doing that than getting a race win. Let's see if he can do that.
So is there anybody, this is the thing, I wonder if anybody has never, I don't want to, I sound like I'm being quite bad to Daniel Kraft really, but has anybody ever led all 3 races in the evening and not won a race? I'm sure it's happened, but...
Tell you what, that needs to be a stat.
It's quite difficult, but hopefully Dan Kraft, I'm going to root for Dan Kraft, hopefully he can get this one.
A stat that person that's led all the races that's never won. I tell you, that'll be interesting.
Here comes Wojciech Savidovic as well. He's got a nice slipstream on Michael Shellback. And McIntyre really closing in. Alex, as you said, it's probably about 1 second now, isn't it?
Down to 0.8, so he's right there now. He's going to be able to get that slipstream, whether he'll get a big enough run. I think he needs to get to about 0.4 of a second if he's going to have any chance. Will we see 4 wide? I think we might.
This straight's going to be something else.
We very well could.
Here we go then, out of the hairpin. This is onto another fantastic section of track. There's just too much of it here.
Trees, mind you.
And Shellback got a good run here. There we go, we got some tarmac back here. Now, it's left.
Oh, is he going to... No, he's not, is he? It's silly, Michael. Don't do it there.
And he's... Oh, dear me.
That's not the word. That's not... No, it's not a passing place.
Now we start going right instead of left. We're now heading right, and then we'll go...
You can't just invent a gap.
Oh, is he going to go around the outside? Oh, dear
he's hitting him, he's hitting him.
Oh, dear. A few 0Xs would have been caught there through the left-hander.
Look how fast this section is.
And now we're going to go right. This corner's absolutely brilliant in a car here.
I would not even have the courage to get anywhere near the car in front through that section, let alone do what Michael Shellback's just done.
Now, into the carousel. Obviously, we won't be able... Well, me and Andrew won't be able to see.
I'm up in the chopper. I'll see if it's any better.
Let's see if they're in the same positions when they go in as they are coming out.
Everybody maintain that bottom line on that concrete. Yes is the answer. Good run out from Daniel Kraft and a good run out from Shellback as well. They gained slightly on Savidovic to the carousel.
Now 1.1 seconds separates all 4 cars now as well. It's getting closer.
Don't expect any overtakes to be happening through this section. In fact, Shellback's just lost a little bit of ground to Dan Kraft now. Savidovic just getting onto the back of him, but I'm sure he'll close right back up through this section.
If Kraft can get, say, a second lead by the mini carousel, he's got a chance of just being completely out of a threat from these guys. But he's not going to at this rate, is he? Because Shellback is right there.
Thanks,
right
trees.
there. On the rear bumper of that Kia Optima. The Alphalatech car and the Friction Racing car.
Oh,
and he's going to make the gap now.
Be careful, you don't want to put two wheels into the grass like
That's
he did. His teammate did in race 1.
Oh, the gravel lurks on the outside of some of these corners in the middle sector. Savidovic hitting Michael Shellback, I believe, there, and that's meant that it's held McIntyre up as well. We're not far away from the mini carousel now. Not sure what the actual name is, but mini carousel's a good enough description to me.
Well, they've run the cars out so wide there, and there's just a few bricks, it looks like, on the outside that keeps them away from that grass. But look how quick they're going through there. Shellback mounting that curb on the inside.
What a section.
McIntyre going onto the grass just a little bit there, but he's able to hold on. Here we go then. This right-hander, and then a quick 90-degree left, and then we're on our way towards the mini carousel, and Shellback might find an opening. Wouldn't you rather stay in second?
Oh, Shellback's just give him a bump and run. He's on the outside of the mini carousel, and Daniel Kraft's in the fence, and Wojciech Savidovic is on the grass.
So and then there were 3.
And McIntyre's going round the outside of Wojciech Savidovic.
Dear me. And here we go onto the straight then. Let's see what's going to happen.
Dotting a hoe here. And is that enough, Alex, for Shellback?
It might be enough. Oh,
get back in the tow. Work together.
Into the slipstream as well.
The
What's
speed
going to
picks up.
happen?
265, 266, 267. We're getting onto the. Here they come.
This is going to be real. Look at the overspeed.
Oh, here comes Savidovic.
McIntyre.
Round the outside he goes.
McIntyre's trying the wrong way around. He's hitting him. It's bump drafting
Kraft's
him down.
coming back.
Kraft's right there. Is it going to be Wojciech Savidovic?
Final chicane. Hard on the brakes they go. Is Shellback close enough to get anything done? He's off that control. He's off. And so is McIntyre.
Oh, Savidovic is off as well.
Kraft's coming through to take second.
Savidovic was in the wall.
Can Kraft take the win? No, he surely can't. Wojciech Savidovic is going to come through and take the race-free win.
Oh, goodness me. What scenes here. McIntyre's just going to hold off Stevens.
What commitment.
What a race. I mean, we've heard that the Nordschleife doesn't always throw up fantastic racing, but that last lap was as good as any you'll see.
You want to see drivers that were on it, that final corner, they were all on the brakes, they all skated off. They were desperate to get that win, and the speed they were going at, just over 270 kilometers per hour. I don't know what that is in miles per hour, but
it's quite a lot. It's 170, isn't it?
170,
I think so.
Going right on it. Wow, what a finish.
Alex, can we just get... I know we've got the results to come. We'll get the results later. Can we just get that last...
Just watching it now on replay. Oh,
where are you
actually,
watching
Shellback
from?
lost it totally by himself. And what happened to Jack? Did Jack lose it by himself?
Jack McIntyre just followed him off, really. I'm just looking at him now.
Is this the final chicane?
Yeah.
That we're
He
seeing?
lost it on a bump. The track goes down a bit.
McIntyre should have gone right instead of left, really. Down dotting a hook.
And
he should have done, but he was kind of boxed in a little bit. I think that was the problem.
Yeah.
Svidovic got alongside and boxed him in.
And Dan Kraft just comes through and takes
I'll tell you
second.
what, both of them did exactly the same thing. You're right, and Kraft just, thank you very much, guys. I'll take second place back.
You know what? Wojciech was lucky because he did hit the wall, but it was ever so slight contact. Any more than that, and I think Dan Kraft becomes like Lazarus and goes from 4th to 1st.
From 1st to 4th and 4th to 1st.
1st to 4th, 4th to 1st, yeah. What an outstanding race. That was excellent, really was.
Great job. Let's have a look at
the first half of it wasn't so outstanding, I'll have to say, but the last part just shows everything about this series that is so good.
Savidovic then, he takes the win, half a second in the end ahead of Dan Kraft. That both of those guys started outside the top 10, as did 8 of the people that finished inside the top 10. Dan Kraft in second, 3rd for Shellback from 20th, 4th for Ross Balfour, 5th Jack McIntyre, 6th Kip Stevens. In the end, he did start on the front row though. 7th Alex Malensky, 8th Simon Field, Stadion Chepelevsky, 46th to 9th. John Roberts in 10th, Paul Smith 11th, George Simmons finished in 12th, Roy Ververke 13th, Nick McCarron 14th, Richard Gore in 15th, 16th for Julian Janowski, 17th for Michael Hall, those 15th, 16th, and 17th, Gore, Janowski, and Hall, they all started outside the top 40. Jay Wright finished 18th, 19th, Michael Blake, 20th for Whitehead, 21st, Ben Hackerson, 22nd, Scott Malcolm, 23rd for Stuart Atkinson, 24th, Diogo Melro, Peter Van Gaal on his return to the championship in 25th, 26th, Jörg Dankert, 27th, Pete Harrod, 28th, Craig Evans, 29th for Andrew Brown, Lorne Murray, started first, finished 30th. Lee Berridge, 31st, 32nd, Dan Hunt, and then the car's one lap down or more. Of course, if you finish one lap down, you still get your race points. Mark Johnston, 33rd, Matthew Bunn, 34th, Rob Graham, 35th.
Sorry, I'm not convinced a lot of those guys have finished yet, Adam, because Lee Berridge is... Have you seen this, by the way? Lee Berridge's car.
Oh, look.
Have a quick gander at that.
Lee Berridge currently being shown in 31st. And he's still... Oh, dear me, the car's wobbling from side to side. He's got it going.
Oh, no.
Maybe he heard us, I don't know.
He might have done.
Tell you what,
no, it's still... No, it's still
I think
like
once
a
he reaches
jelly
a
on the
certain
plate.
speed, it's like one of those old bangers he used to drive up the motorway, and once you got past 70, it would start going absolutely crazy.
He's going to make it, though, in fairness. He's going to be on the lead. Oh, God.
Dear me. Hope he hasn't got force feedback, especially if he's got it turned up to 80 like we did in the hotel last week.
I hope it's not. I hope he doesn't have the Leo Bodner sim steering on this one, because his arms would have come off, Alex, I reckon.
I think so. I think full credit to Lee for finishing that race, though. I tell you what, because
Well done, cross the line.
Points again.
27.
Unless he was wiggling around because he was just so happy. I don't know, one or the other. So yes, that does complete the results out of it. Didn't update the bottom from about 20. I think from 23rd down wasn't updated because of that. I think.
Okay, we'll start from 20th then. 20th was in the end was Andrew Whitehead. 21st Ben Hackerson. 22nd Scott Malcolm. 23rd Stuart Atkinson. 24th Diogo Melro. 25th was Peter Van Gaal. 26th Jörg Dankert. 27th there you were Lee Berridge. 4 minutes and 25 seconds behind the leaders. And then the cars one lap down or more. Pete Harrod, Craig Evans, Andrew Brown, Lorne Murray finished 31st in the end after starting on pole. 32nd for Dan Hunt, and then the cars that weren't classified. Mark Johnston started third on the grid. But yeah, we saw him have a huge crash just before the mini carousel. Matt Bunn, 34th. Rob Graham, 35th. Steve Hefford, 36th. Jamie Rushworth, it is not going his way for Race Hub this season. In 37th, Laura Bond, 38th, Cesare Rizzo, 39th, Colin Cunniff, 40th, and Russell Laidler got stuck in the Armco barrier about halfway around the first lap, and he finished in 41st.
Yeah, I mean, that was quite unlucky, I have to say, for Laidler, but Rushworth was 11th in the standings after the last race. It's going to be a bit lower, I think, after that. However, it was only really Kraft and Stevens that were anywhere near him that got quite a lot of points, but Stevens wasn't close enough to overtake him on that. So, Rushworth, if anything, some of these guys retired, then Jamie Fluke not taking part this week. I think he may have even moved up. So we'll see about that. Wouldn't have moved up because he didn't get any points at all, of course. So, but it was very good for Savidovic, wasn't it? Because, and actually, that's probably one of his best wins, Adam, I reckon, because not only did he start so far down, it's a difficult track to overtake. His pace wasn't quite there in practice and qualifying.
Yeah,
but he did. But he made it through in the end, and he survived crashing on the last corner.
And I know Savidovic has taken a lot of wins in his time in the BSRTC. Of course, season 6 champion, took the most wins out of anyone in the last season, of course, in the Pro Series. But this one will surely stand out. He had a good battle, of course, in the Winter Series, was it? I think he ended up taking the win. It was this season. He ends up taking the win at Watkins in the last race in quite dramatic fashion there as well. So he's had to work hard for his race wins this season. And at a track like the Nürburgring, every win is thoroughly deserved. And that race 3 victory, fantastic job.
Yeah, it's like a Bathurst, isn't it? Or or a Spa or something like that. You win here, and there's no question at all that you've earned it. So
we've got the Nürburgring. Next, we need the Isle of Man TT. We were saying that.
There you go, an even longer course. Even longer course that nobody knows. Cracking circuit that. But
Le Mans.
Imagine the task of that in iRacing Le Mans as well. Well, I think what we've earned, chaps, is a good old rest. Alex, just before we go, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, just nothing major. Just quite enjoyed that. That final race was great. Wasn't sure how this week was going to pan out actually with it. I look forward to seeing that back on the schedule again. I think it's a different challenge out there, a different beast for everyone to try and tame.
We had some fun at the driver's expense during that night's meeting, but it was a very, very competitive meeting, and a lot of really good racing at the front as well. So, from all of us here at Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live, and of course Motors TV, it's goodbye from the iRacing BSR TC, and we'll see you next week right here on Apex Racing TV.
I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
Me and my friends in this place gonna party.